Take a flick. Take a flick. Come on, take a flick.
Yeah, I got Bel Air and as a whole.
What was supposed to be a birthday trip to Houston turned deadly for 24-year-old Felicia Johnson. She was visiting from San Diego back in April of last year and vanished.
Criminals Unleashed.
Welcome to Criminals Unleashed. Today, we're gonna get into the Felicia Johnson story, a 24-year-old San Diego native who took a trip to Houston days after her birthday to celebrate. What was supposed to be a short getaway turned into her family's worst nightmare.
It was Texas EquiSearch volunteers that found Felicia Johnson's purse in Bear Creek Park, close to where Johnson's family found her cell phone. And although Houston police believe the 24-year-old was murdered, they still have not found her body.
This story is gonna take us to Houston, Texas, one of the most diverse cities in the United States and the energy capital of the world. This will be the place where Felicia Johnson would decide to celebrate her birthday on a short getaway. While she was there, she attempted to obtain a job at a nightclub where she was turned away. After being turned away, Felicia had been in contact with someone who had responded to an escort ad she had put up days before. They decided to meet. So the customer, who ended up being the main suspect, sent her Uber to pick her up and drop her off at his old apartment. There, he would meet her and drive her to his new location. That was the last time Felicia Johnson was seen. The following day, after receiving no answer from Felicia, her family got worried and contacted the police, filed a missing person report, and even contacted a private investigator who was able to start searching right away. The private investigator was able to find her cell phone, which was found with blood on it, near a location where it was last pinged on a tracking device.
We're out looking for Felicia Johnson. Today they searched an area of interest at Bear Creek Pioneers Park, which is right around the location where Johnson's family says her phone was found.
Well, it's been 5 days since Johnson was last seen leaving a nightclub on West Little York in Northwest Houston. ABC 13 reporter Roxy Bustamante joins us live with what we've learned about her disappearance. Roxy.
So the Cover Girls nightclub right here behind me was the last place where Felicia Johnson was last seen. Now, Houston police tell us that detectives returned back here to this area, and her father is hoping that the surveillance video from inside the building will reveal who left with his daughter. Where is Felicia Johnson?
I can't put it into words. I'm trying to hold myself together and not just break down, and I don't know where my baby is or what's being done to her.
Kevin Johnson says his daughter Felicia was at the Cover Girls nightclub off of West Little York on Friday, April 15th. He says she was trying to apply for a job but was turned away.
She called the Uber. Uber was taking too long to really get here. So a gentleman here at the club offered to give her a ride to where she needed to go. Felicia has not been seen since. No cell phone activity, no credit card activity, no social media activity. She has absolutely just vanished off the face of the earth.
A team with Texas EquiSearch was searching in an area of interest near the park off of Eldridge Parkway.
We know that she's a victim of foul play. We need help in finding her.
Johnson's family fearing the worst. Her father sharing this message in hopes that Felicia Johnson is still somewhere alive.
It's a tragedy that you've been caught up in this net of whatever they got going on out here. But we working very, very hard to get you back. And I love you. Everybody in the family love you. And I just wanted to let you know, just stay strong and we're coming for you.
Now, there was a $5,000 reward for any information leading to the arrest of the suspect. Felicia Johnson was described by her friends and family as an outgoing, generous, happy, and independent young lady. She was a go-getter and wanted more for her life. She was also described as the life of the party. Once the FBI joined the investigation, they were able to find the person responsible for ordering the Uber, and from there the authorities were able to track them better. They found out that the suspect picked up Felicia after the Uber dropped her off at the location, and he then drove her to his new location. From there, surveillance videos show his vehicle leaving an hour later. 2 days later, another surveillance video caught the suspect's vehicle in Walmart, where it shows that he purchased trash bags, a flashlight, and towels. He also purchased a mechanical saw from Home Depot. Houston Police Department showed other receipts that showed the suspect took out cash from the bank and purchased more supplies. They also checked his search history, where they found questions like, does vinegar or bleach destroy DNA? He also searched how to delete search history, followed by how to get away with murder. The last search, it was if police can open a locked phone in a murder investigation. On May 13th, authorities got a search warrant for the suspect's apartment and vehicle, where they found Felicia's DNA along with a gun, knife, and a shovel.
Uncovered some new information in the murder of Felicia Johnson.
Nearly 2 months since she was last seen, her remains still have not been found. Now new court documents show how investigators linked a suspect to her murder.
Good morning, Erica and Jeff. We're live here from where Felicia Johnson was last seen alive. It's the outcome that no one wanted, and the gruesome details in the new charging documents accuse the suspect of doing extensive research to try and cover up her murder. Friends and family last heard from Johnson back on April 15. According to Uber records, investigators subpoenaed about a week later. They say the suspect, Chuabuka Wobodo, was the one who requested the ride for Johnson from her hotel to his apartment. Police say records show that on the 16th and 17th, he bought a number of supplies from Walmart and Home Depot, including a flashlight, shirt, gloves, saws, trash bags, and towels. Later that day on the 16th, a family friend found Johnson's phone at Bear Creek Park covered in blood. On May 13th, HPD conducted a search warrant where they say they found blood, weapons, receipts, and supplies in the suspect's car, as well as Johnson's DNA and blood in his apartment. Here's an excerpt from a news conference last week held by activist Quanell X and others who have been looking for Johnson.
We want the suspect to know that the no snitch policy will never protect you in our community, that we're coming for you, we're looking for you, and we'll leave no stone unturned in trying to find out your whereabouts.
Investigators say that Wobodo's search internet history came up with phrases like how to get away with murder and does blood or does bleach destroy DNA. Right now, police are still looking for Wobodo, and they have not located Johnson's remains.
After Felicia's disappearance, the suspect allegedly Googled things like what does bleach do to blood, how to be a serial killer, and how does one plan a murder without getting caught. On April 30th, nearly 2 weeks after Felicia's disappearance, the suspect's Google search revealed he was still looking for Houston escorts. The investigating detective saying, quote, "I believe Felicia is deceased and was likely dismembered." On May 13th, nearly 1 month after Johnson's disappearance, police arrested Wobodo, at which point they went through his phone, where they say they found a photo of a dismembered woman and 3 other photos of dead bodies. We also learned that the suspect was previously investigated for attempted sexual assault. The victim chose not to press charges.
Now, right now, it's not clear why the suspect was arrested and then released from custody. We do know, though, that tonight that suspect is on the run, wanted on charges of murder and tampering with evidence. Felicia Johnson's body still hasn't been recovered.
The family of Felicia Johnson, although they had an idea, the news still impacted them greatly. After these discoveries, nothing new occurred on the case, not until 10 months later, where a tech stock worker that was working in the woods found human remains. This happened near Flamingo Lakes and Highway 149. Montgomery County detectives were at the scene. They determined that the remains in fact were human and were sent in for testing. What the family had been waiting for.
Tonight, a father believes the remains of his daughter, who went missing nearly a year ago, may have been found.
And today, investigators tell us they were back out at a site in Montgomery County where remains were found earlier this week. Grace White joins us now with what she's learned. Grace?
Those remains in Montgomery County have still not officially been identified. The justice of the peace there told us tonight he was on scene Tuesday when skeletal remains were found along with a trash bag that's now been collected as evidence.
Pieces of crime scene tape can still be seen not far from Katie Francis's house.
It's kind of creepy.
She lives at the edge of the Sam Houston National Forest.
Sometimes there's garbage bags where people dump stuff like that out, but oh gosh, it's probably been 30, 40 years since we heard of them finding anybody else up there.
But Tuesday afternoon, they may have found someone. From Drone 11, you can see the path off Highway 149 near Flamingo Lakes, where the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office says a TxDOT worker discovered human bone remains.
So, Grace, do we have any idea how long it will take to identify these remains that were found?
The justice of the peace told us tonight it could take some time, but they are working on this as fast as they can.
Human remains found in Montgomery County earlier this month have been confirmed as those of Felicia Johnson.
She's the 24-year-old San Diego woman who disappeared while visiting Houston in April of last year, and investigators are still looking for the man charged in her death. Those remains were found in Sam Houston National Forest back on February 7th. Aniela Ruiz is live. What else are you learning tonight, Aniela?
Well, investigators are telling us they hope this brings her family some kind of closure, but HPD continues searching for the man they believe murdered Felicia Johnson. What was supposed to be a birthday trip to Houston turned deadly for 24-year-old Felicia Johnson. She was visiting from San Diego back in April of last year and vanished. And now investigators say DNA and dental records confirm the remains found at the Sam Houston National Forest earlier this month are hers. We spoke to Felicia Johnson's dad when the remains were found, and even then, he knew those remains were his daughter.
Whenever they release her, then I will be able to have a service for her and pay her the respects that she needs.
Houston police have charged 28-year-old Chukwubuka Nobudu with her murder. He's on the run. His arrest warrant said they met on an escort website before she disappeared on April 16th of last year. The warrant says they found DNA strongly matching Felicia's at Nobudu's home, and a gun and a knife and a shovel in his car. Investigators say they also found searches related to how to be a serial killer and most forwarded places in Houston.
I was in anguish. I still am, because I want the perpetrators to be caught.
And now that her remains have been found, many hope this brings her family one step closer to getting the closure they deserve.
And at least you don't have to wonder and question, where is she? What happened to her? At least you have that now. And now we can move on to the next step, and that's catching this guy and bringing him to justice.
Now, if you have any information on the suspect, you're told to contact police or Crime Stoppers. There is a $5,000 reward. Reporting live, Anayeli Ruiz, KHOU 11 News.
Felicia Johnson's tragic story serves as a haunting reminder of the dark side of humanity and the urgent need for justice. Her life was cut short by an act of violence that shook her community and left an incredible mark on the hearts of those who knew her. She was a vibrant soul full of dreams and aspirations, but her life was brutally stolen from her, leaving behind a void that can never be filled. Felicia's story is a painful reminder that we must confront the darkness that exists within society and work towards a world where such senseless acts of violence are unthinkable. In the wake of this devastating loss, Felicia's loved one, her communities, and countless of strangers railed together demanding justice. They refused to let her memory fade into oblivion, seeking answers and accountability for the heinous crimes that ended her life. Thank you for watching today. This is Criminals Unleashed.
Take a flick. Come on, take a flick.
Yeah, I got Bel Air and Accessible.